this links, we're just continuing to apply the rules that we've learned for multiplication, division, and addition and subtraction. So we have a positive 9 and a negative 0.5. A positive times a negative is going to be a negative. So we know the sign of our answer will be negative. Okay, and over here we have y is positive because it's to the right of 0, and x is going to be negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, negative 8. But actually all we need to know is the sign, that x is negative, because we have y is positive times a negative x and then a y. So when we multiply a positive times a negative, that answer is still going to turn out to be negative. One negative makes it negative. Okay, if you ever have an odd number of negative signs, like 1, your final answer is going to be negative. If you ever have an even number of negative signs, then your final answer will be positive. Okay, that's a little trick to remember. Odd number of negatives, negative. Even number of negatives, it's going to be positive. Okay, so they're telling us here that y equals 7. So in place of y, we can put 7. We're going to take care of these two negatives that are right next to each other. Those turn into a positive, and then we have plus a negative y, which is a negative 7. So we can add 2 and 4, gives us 6, plus negative 7. Look at the signs, use our rules. 6 is positive, 7 is negative. They're unlike, so we subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. Keep the sign of the bigger number. 7 is bigger, it's negative, so the sign of our final answer is going to be negative. So we get a negative 1 for our final answer. Okay, and one with fractions, we have a negative 2/5 minus 4/5 plus negative 9/10. Okay, we're going to change this minus, we're going to put that in parentheses and change it to a plus in between so we can easily recognize the sign of our numbers, which is negative 4/5 plus negative 9/10. Okay, again, we need a common denominator before we can add all these together. The least common multiple between 5 and 10 is 10. So we have to multiply by 2 on the bottom, multiply by 2 on the top. So that would be negative 4 over 10. Again, multiply by 2, top and bottom. Gives us negative 8 over 10. And then 9/10 is already good to go. So we look at, just to look at 2 at a time. So we'll start with the first 2. Look at their signs. They're both negative. So that means they're like. We would add, keep the original sign. So 8 plus 4 is 12. Gives us negative 12. The denominator stays the same. When you add or subtract fractions, the denominator does not change. And then we still have our plus negative 9/10. Okay, again, we look at the signs. They're both negative. They're like. So we add them. Gives us 21. Keep the original sign. Makes it a negative 21 over 10. We can't reduce it. We could change it to a mixed number, but we don't have to. We can leave it improper. So we'll do negative 21 over 10. All right, perfect. Thanks, 7th graders.